Hey everybody, here we go. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Path to Prosperity live webinar for all the investor agent students, for flipping students, property management students, students buying rentals and wholesaling, soon to come commercial, by the way. Glad to have you. If you are relatively new and this is your first webinar or you haven't been on for a while, same thing. We use the chat box to field questions. So if you use the chat box to type in any questions you have, that would be awesome. And I'll get back to you on the chat there. It is being recorded, so that tomorrow you'll get a recording of the webinar. If you could do me a favor and make sure you always look for the email from Beverly, and always download the things she gives you to download. They're not traditional attachments. They're links inside the email with like a little paperclip symbol, and you click on that and it actually initiates the download. That prevents a lot of emails from going to spam. Also, she gives you information like the upcoming webinar schedule, changes, things like that. It seems like there's always something changing. And if you probably noticed, if you've tried to go on the community site recently, they're right in the middle of upgrading that. They're not done yet. They got it back up and running today. What we thought was going to be an overnight thing ended up being a lot more than overnight. So in any case, all the little bugs and things like that are being fixed. And more importantly, it's going to be a lot more powerful as far as bandwidth goes. So we're going to open it up to the general public, which is really good for all of us. In other words, only investor agents have access to be able to create a profile on that website, community website. But all the consumers can access it free and clear going forward. So now all these investors can now find you on there. Okay. So in any case, look for stuff like that. Okay. That will be awesome. So let me go to the chat box and clear those up. Let's see. Louise, oh yeah, you know what's funny is that my background here. Watch this, guys. You know, it's just crazy how that works. But just pay attention to the. Don't look at the man behind the mirror. Just pay attention to the class. Louis says hi. Tanya says hi, Louis. Hey, Tanya, good to see you. How everyone? Okay, nice to see you and hear you. Shannon, good to see you. All right, welcome aboard. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started here. And if you have any questions, guys, just remember this is open forum, totally unscripted, unfiltered, everything good, bad, and ugly. It all shows up. Tonight's session, I call it the owner flip exit strategy. So exit strategy refers to how an investor in a property can make money. It's not like they're going to just necessarily sell. Okay, it's once they buy a property and own it, how can they most profitably operate that property? Okay, so if you're in high-priced areas, you know, New York City, LA, you know, British, you know, Vancouver, Toronto, even parts of Miami, lots of expensive areas. It would be nice if we had other strategies to drive up cash flow on an exponential basis, okay? Because if you try to do traditional rentals, you'll find that your cost basis does not always justify the cash flow, especially if you want to finance 80% of the property, 80% of the purchase, okay? Now, this is not the only extra strategy in those circumstances. The one next week I'll give you will also be a great strategy for those of you in high-priced areas. But always remember this, never assume what someone is going to think and feel and say and do. You know, people still invest in LA and Vancouver and Toronto, okay? But typically what they'll do is they'll put more money down and they'll finance less, okay? Or they'll pay all cash. Sometimes people literally just looking for a place to park their money. In brick and mortar is like gold. It you know, basically holds its value. In any case, aside from that, this strategy applies to people who already own their properties, okay? And this is the part where you want to really pay attention and maybe write these things down. You'll get this later, you'll get this tomorrow, by the way, in the follow-up email. Everything is written out, documented, everything that I think you need is in here. I'm also going to give you some letters you can use to send to these folks. Okay, I'll do that tonight too. In fact, I better go grab those now. Hang on one second. Okay, let's grab this one and bring that one up. So this is a letter. Let me do the share here. Hang on one second. Let me share this one. So this letter is what you, the agent, will send to the owner of a property. Okay. in this next letter, let me bring it up and I'll share that with you. And we're going to go over all these. I just want to get them all up so I'm not fumbling around later on. Okay, this letter is one that you're going to have a contractor send to the owner once you've made contact with the owner and established the beachhead, so to speak. So let me go back to the original checklist. Okay, this will start to make a lot more sense. So here's the basic strategy. We did this up in Santa Barbara, and we found out by grabbing the county data. So for those of you who are in the training program, but you're not on the Global Investor Agent Team, traditional methods apply here. What that means is you have to get access to your county records, property records. Usually it's online, usually it's free, but if it doesn't allow you to search by purchase date, then you're gonna have to buy the data. Typically you can buy a county database for like $50, okay? And you download it on the computer in a spreadsheet, and then you can search by date purchased. What we're looking for is people who have owned their properties for 30 or more years, all right? We've even done it for 40 or more years, and you'd be surprised at how many people have owned their properties for 40 or more years, okay? So you also have to have it'd be nice to have a contractor that you know, like, and trust. Now, this particular contractor does not have to necessarily be a contractor that you would use for investment properties, okay? A lot of times we can find contractors who work on investment properties, and they would generally do more work for less because they're generally for traditional rentals. So you've got, baseline material, baseline workmanship, things like that. When it comes to these properties, okay, we're generally looking for more traditional retail type remodeling, okay? So you want to find a contractor who's got a good resume, a good track record of doing good work. And if you don't have one, you can interview them and always ask for a portfolio of jobs that they've done. You want to see before and after pictures, cost sheets, things like that. So just remember that. That's not in this checklist here. If you don't have a contractor, interview 3 of them, ask for references, ask for a resume, or references, resume, and ask for a portfolio of jobs that they've done, including before and after pictures and cost sheets, okay? So once you have a contractor in place, you can now approach the owner who's owned the property more than 30 years. And essentially it works like this. A person who's owned a property more than 30 years probably has older carpeting, older flooring, older cabinetry, older windows, pretty much everything's older. Would you agree that's generally what you see with someone who's owned the property that long? You'll have more of a chance of seeing older material, older cabinetry and all that, okay? Well, flippers know that too, okay? And they're looking for these same people. Here's where we're going to beat them out, okay? So what you do is you approach the owner and say, look, you're going to be approached from flippers and wholesalers. They're going to try to buy your property at a dramatic discount, and they'll say, we'll give you cash, you can close right now, okay? And it's going to be tempting to someone to realize, my gosh, wait, I can get that much money right now. I don't have to wait. I don't have to market the property. I don't have to clean the property. I can just sell it and go and walk away, okay? And you'll have people that'll do that. So your strategy is you're going to approach them, all right, and say, look, you're going to be approached by these other people, right? And whatever, if you can do that if that suits what your needs are. However, there's another way you can sell your property and make more money. Would you be interested in hearing that? Okay, I'm going to give this letter too, by the way. So, and once you have them agree to say, yes, I'd like to make more money, you say, great, I can help you do what the flippers are doing, but you don't have to sell your house and have somebody else profit from the flip. You can have the house remodeled with no risk to you, no financial cost, and yet you share in the increased profit of the property. Well, does that sound interesting to you? Okay. So, for example, here's a just a little bit of an example here. All right. By the way, houses that are old and musty and dirty and all that kind of stuff generally will take longer to sell. Houses that are newly remodeled, and you guys know this, wherever you are. I mean, Shannon, perfect example where you are out in the LA area. They're going to sell fast. They're just going to go fast. Okay, the better properties go fast. So the point is this: let's say you get a house that's outside of town, and the current value is about $500,000. Okay, and it's as is condition. All right. if you bring in a contractor who would assume the responsibility of the cost of material and labor, right? That's their risk, okay? And it costs $100,000 to do the remodeling, and then the house is now worth $700,000. Well, you've increased the value of the house by $200,000. Now, if you take the $500,000 that it was already worth, you're now left with $200,000, and you reduce it by the $100,000 remodeling cost, you're now left with $100,000 in profit, okay? So what happens is the owner and the contractor split the profit. So they each gain from this by $50,000, which is no small amount of money. And you, the agent, get a property to sell that's now $700,000 as opposed to $500,000, okay? So in any case, if you don't want to do this, you just go right back into listing mode and say, okay, I'll go ahead and sell it for you for $500,000, okay? But in any case, so far, can you see the value in this strategy? So let me, actually one more thing on the commission, that if you're just getting one side, let's say you do sell the house at $500,000, you get the listing side at 3%, that's a $21,000 commission, all right? If you, I'm sorry, that's a $700,000. If you sell it at $500,000, that's $15,000 commission, an increase in $6,000. Let's say you get both sides of the deal. You list it and you bring in the buyer. That potentially goes to, $42,000 in gross commission versus $30,000. Sound pretty good? Okay, let me go to the question box here. Just want to make sure everybody's clear so far. David says yes. Melanie, hey Melanie, how you doing? Yes, it's one more USP. There you go. I love this strategy. You can, if you look at demographics for an area, remember you have planning commission website data. So every city, every county has a planning commission. They generally will give you demographics. If you don't see it directly on your planning commission website, you can always go to your census. In Canada, it's Stats Canada. In the US, it's US Census, okay? And you can search based on census tract, and they will give you all the demographics and social graphics. So you can determine the areas, and some of them you kind of already know anyways, intuitively. But you're looking for the areas, generally they'll have more of a senior population, okay? Say 65 and older, all right? That's where you're gonna find these properties, but more importantly, you buy your property records, and if you're on the team, of course, you get direct access to the lead generation system. Let me just go there and show you that. Okay, let's see. This will help. Whoops, this will help you a lot. I think I'm going to the right place. Well, it didn't do what I thought I was going to do, but nonetheless, let's go there anyways. That should be it right there. Let's see. Incorrect password. Okay, let's see. That should be the password. I must have done something on my computer recently. Login failed. Please try again. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do that. I must have typed it in wrong. Let's go to LastPass. Hang on just one second, guys. What did I do there? Let me start from scratch. Whoops. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Type that in. There we go, lead pipes. Okay, that should get me in. Support. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna have to probably let me just type this one more time. GIA. Okay. There we go. Now we're in. Okay, let me share this with you. Sorry, guys, I probably had butterfingers. So I'm going to go to. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to go to. Let's go to Austin. Okay, Austin, Texas. All right. And let's see. Let's do. Whoops. locality, active listings board, long-term owner. We'll click long-term owner. So, so Melanie, this is for you. Let's do individual, and we'll do all the property types. Let's do search. So Melanie, this is for you. Let's see what we come up with in Austin for long-term owners. And then we'll do, and then Shannon, we'll do Beverly Hills, okay? No leads found for Austin. Let's do Beverly Hills. So nobody owns a property more than 30 years. That doesn't sound right. Let's do Los Angeles. Oops, be easier. Los Angeles, California. Okay, and search. Oops. LA, Los Angeles, California. There we go. I'm having a real hard time typing tonight. Okay, let's see what we get. Let's reduce that. Save search. Individual. I did that. Okay. I don't know what the heck, what I'm doing wrong here. I should have come up. Term owner. Let's start from scratch. That's what we'll do. Lead pipes. Property leads. There we go. Now let's see what pops up. Okay, where we'll do Los Angeles. California. And we want long-term owners. You know what we could have done, Melanie? We could have done 100% equity owners too. Individual, and let's do search. Okay, now we should get some results. So Melanie, we'll go back to Austin. We'll do a search there. Doesn't like that. Doesn't like the. We got to put more. We got to put more search criteria in there. So let's do all lead types. Let's go back to Austin, Texas. There we go, and hit search. See what we get. And I'll go back to the chat box here in just a second, guys. Hang on just 1 second. So it helps to have 100% ownership, 100% equity. There's a number of things you can search by. Here we go. Now we're talking. Okay, so this person, let's see, 0% loan to value. So they own it free and clear. There we go. So let's just check that one out. 1405 30th Street, Austin. So Melanie, there's the owner. If you want to do a screenshot, Melanie, just grab this while it's up. Do a screenshot of this. So this person owns the property free and clear. It's owned by a trust. Not sure what it is, but bottom line is to get the owner and the owner's address, and you might be able to find yourself a good deal there for somebody. Good investment property. Okay, let's go back here, Shannon. Okay, Shannon, 2 questions. When do you recommend securing the listing with the seller, before, during, or after the remodel? What type of contracts need to be in place between contractor and seller, so the contractor has some security in the deal? So Shannon, excellent questions. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm going to leave this up for Melanie for 1 more second, and then we'll go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Sorry that took so long, guys. Contractor, the owner, evidence flip strategy, agent owner flip letter. There we go. Okay. So in here, the best time to get the listing, Shannon, is right in the beginning. So as soon as you get the owner agreement, okay, go ahead and get the listing. But your listing, you're going to put in there that you're not going to list it to, you're not going to promote it to a particular date. Put it out there 2 months, 3 months, whatever. You can always revise it, okay? And you want to put out there say a price pending, or it's like, in other words, you're basically going to get the listing secured, but you're not going to promote it yet. Okay. The main thing is you want to get the listing secured. If you have the conversation, and as time goes on, you don't have it listed, all kinds of things can happen. Okay. So it's always best to get it listed first. Remember, if they end up getting cold feet or whatever, something goes wrong, you can still sell it at the original as is price. Okay. Now in here, you're going to see some verbiage that has to do with the contractor having security, okay, and reducing risk, which means is they're going to draw up almost like they're part of the deed, okay. They're not going to record it, but if something goes wrong on the owner's side, the contractor has a right to record this updated deed. They can also record what's called a mechanics lien to protect themselves. So bottom line is you definitely want to determine your goals, and also determine which niche group you're going to go after. Obviously, it's going to be people who are seniors in areas where they've owned their properties more than 30 years, and typically areas that are going in through gentrification or transition. So, and it says right here that, basic niche group is people with properties that are owned more than 30 years. They're considering downsizing. Their home is in a desirable area, has other amenities, older amenities, flooring, cabinetry, windows, things that are easy to remodel. You don't want big giant rehab projects. You don't want like structural damage. You want to try to minimize that type of work. Hopefully it'll have at least a decent roof on it and modern wiring, things like that. If it doesn't, you're getting into a lot of money. A lot of contractors will say, well, there's too much risk there. Okay. But back to this, you want to use the letter template that I'm going to give you here in a second. To approach the owner. I'm going to show you that second. Let me go through the checklist first and I'll show you the letters, okay? So use a letter template. You're going to provide case studies. So in your case studies, actually, let me go there and grab that document. I'll show you some examples of case studies. Okay. So once this comes up, I will do a share. Case studies, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the letter in a second, but right here, so Shannon, these are all up in Santa Barbara. I had a whole sheet of about 11 of these, but I basically narrowed it down to 5. So I can send this to you. In fact, guys, what I'll do is I'm going to give all these to Beverly to send to you in the email tomorrow. All these, the 2 letter from you to the owner, the letter from the contractor to the owner, the checklist, and also the sample of case studies, which are flips. So here's a flip right here. You can see it was 6 days on market, sold for $11,000 over asking price. Okay, the house. These were traditional flips. Flipper paid $666, sold it for $890. So you show these traditional flips to your potential seller and saying, this is what's possible. Look, you can sell your house for $666, or you can sell it for $890. Which one would you rather sell the house for? With no risk in there. You split the profit with the contractor, okay? Santa Paula Avenue on the market 5 days. See how what I mean? Newly remodeled houses, guys, always sell more. Investor paid $730, sold it for $959. Sold for, let's see, here's an example of one to go in the other direction. So this person didn't remodel. They had an older home, owned a house for almost 90 days, sold for $50,000 less than what they wanted. You see what I'm talking about? You can show this to your potential sellers, okay? Here's one that sold 47 days, right? Later, and also sold for much less. They sold it for $45,000 less than they wanted. But in any case, there's some examples of 2 flips, 2 houses where they flipped and made a lot of profit, 2 houses where they didn't remodel and didn't flip and they sold for less money than they wanted and took longer. So that's your comparison. What happens if they don't do this, the last 2? What happens if they do this, the first 2? Okay. So let me go check the chat box here as I saw some more chats come in. You got it. Oh, thanks, Mary. Good, I'm glad. Hopefully that'll help give you a lead there. So, okay, so let me go back to the, I want to go to the letter from the agent to the owner. So let me do a share on this. Okay. And there we go right there. So Basically, you would put your header up here, maybe a logo, maybe not. I generally, on my letters, guys, I leave the top blank, okay? I go right into the letter itself. They're more likely to read the letter if you don't distract them with something else first. That's one of my age-old lessons in direct response marketing is don't put anything up top. It could distract them. They may never, ever read the letter itself. Have them read the letter itself. Then down below, you can tell them who you are, right? Okay, so back in here, always make it personal. And here's the hook right here. Dear so-and-so, your home at wherever it's located has been in your family for a long time. If you could sell your house for 100, 200, 300,000 more than you would otherwise be able to, with the extra profit help you right now, okay? When you use words right there, like that, help you right now, that plants a seed. Is basically, these are language patterns, help you right now, okay? In any case, if that's a possibility, I have options for you that you may not be aware of to help you get your home ready to sell in this demanding and fickle market, okay? As a licensed contractor, I've helped many homeowners, which is this the right one? I think this is the contract letter. Agents, I might have it mixed up. In any case, just use this letter, okay? Licensed contractor, help people maximize value of their properties in these other markets. The majority of today's home buyers want to take advantage of low interest rates. They are busy, have demanding jobs. They don't have time to be remodeling, okay? So remember, you're painting the picture for them that people buying homes today, they're busy. They just want to move in. And that's why you saw in the examples, they will pay for newly remodeled houses more than they will pay for ones that aren't, knowing they have to do a remodeling contract, okay? In any case, so this is one letter from the contractor to the owner, not the agent, excuse me. Proposal is you, the homeowner, will agree on price, put together a contract your attorney can approve. Remember this, guys, a lot of cases you're going to be not just dealing with the owner, but potentially the owner's children who might be in their 50s, right? The owner's in their 80s and the owner's children are in their 50s, okay? You will not be expected to pay for anything up front. I front all the costs of remodeling. You continue to pay the house bills, okay? We divide the money made from the improvement project. As a contractor, I'm used to keeping excellent itemized records. Should you change your mind after the work is completed and decide not to sell, we can work that out too. I would never demand that you sell, but I would need to be compensated for all my costs at the time. We can work that scenario out at the contract, okay? I wonder if I grab the, this looks like an older version, guys. I have another version. I've just got to figure out where the heck I put it. In any case, this will do for tonight. I'll make sure I get the updated version. In any case, the following page shows examples of properties, again, giving them some case studies. Let's see. Oh, by the way, there will also be an option to sell your home to me in its current condition. So you always give them that option like we talked about. In any case, let's see. That's pretty much it for that letter. Now let me go to this one here. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I had them backwards. Okay, here's the other one. Okay, dear homeowner, when you've only lived in your home for as long as we have, we inevitably reach a point where we begin to consider the options we have to change our living situation. Okay. There are so many reasons that will be present themselves as to why it might be time, like downsizing, relocating as the method to accomplish that. But so often we think of selling our home. We pause to consider the choices we have. Unless we are the rare person who has kept it in perfect shape, we realize that we can go in one of three ways. Sell as is for less and generally have to wait longer for the market, do cost of repairs and escrow. Also, fixtures take longer to sell and sell less than asking price. Or spend a time effort required to renovate and create the home that will sell quickly and for a higher return. Both of these choices can be painful for their own reasons, and dilemma promotes hard decisions and inaction. Now we have a third choice to offer you. We have designed a way for you to be able to enjoy the profits of a second choice, but without the personal time and aggravation typically spent doing that, okay? So this is how you prep them. This is you speaking to the owner. The prior letter was actually the contractor, so I apologize. So back to this, let me go to the chat box and I'll go back to the checklist, all right? Oh, I'm sorry, let me do share on that. I thought I had that open. There you go. It's real short and sweet, guys. Again, I'll put this in the email to Beverly so she can give that to you tomorrow. All right, so you got the letter from the owner, letter from the agent, letter from the contractor. I just got to reverse the titles here. So let's go back to the checklist. All right. And now let me reshare that. Okay. And here we go. Let's see here. Okay. Provide case studies. We talked about that. Also be sure to put in your own testimonials. All right. You know, in other words, the contractor is not the only one who's got to prove themselves. You've got to, demonstrate authority too. So you want to put in your own testimonials. Now, in that second letter, you want to send that out as many as 12 times. Okay. They don't always bite on the first one. Typically, in most cases, it's going to be the third letter. It could be the 12th letter. It could be the 9th letter. But the point is, statistically speaking, it's letters 2, 3, and 4 generally get the highest response rates. It's just people just need time to think about it. Okay. Always follow up with the people who respond to you. Set up the interview. Make the phone call. Set up the go in there, interview them, and you want to screen them and qualify them, obviously, right? Make sure that they're prepared, and also make sure the house is the kind of house that makes sense for doing this. In any case, the next step is introduce them to the contractor, right? And I showed you that letter. Now, at this point, the contractor actually does the negotiating. All right. If the owner is not ready, willing, and able now, then you need to nurture them. All right. You can tell them that you're willing to share any information that they may want, other case studies, other examples, talk to other clients of yours, right? Because you got testimonials, and more importantly, maybe talk to other contractors. They might want to say, I'd like to talk to another contractor about this, and that's okay. You can't stop them. The point is they might be more comfortable with someone else, but the same strategy may apply. Okay, so Shannon, this goes back to why you want to get the property listed up front, because they could change contractors and all kinds of things can happen. If they do decide to change their strategy, you still got it listed. You could sell it for as is, or have them go through this entire strategy and sell it for more money where you make more commissions. Okay. In any case, if it turns out they just want to move, they do not want to remodel and sell, obviously just sell it as is. In any case, that's pretty much the strategy, but it all hinges upon you getting the data. So the most reliable source is always going to be your county's property records. I know a lot of agents who would go to attorneys to get that, and you can certainly do that. They have access to all the information, but so do you also. In some counties, the search criteria is very robust. You can search on a number of different criteria. In other counties, it's not very robust, in which case you have to purchase the data. Generally, it's going to be about $50. It's always set up on a CSV file, right? CVS file, excuse me, and they will give you the layout. So you pay them. Usually, it's online. You can import the data, or basically download it first on your computer. You build a spreadsheet that matches the layout, and then you import it into the spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and then you can search by any criteria you want. You can search by dates sold and sort it by dates sold, excuse me. Then you go to the oldest dates first, and you cut it off at the 30-year mark and just take those records and put them in a separate database, okay? So create a separate file. Then you're going to send a letter, the letter we described here, to all those people who own the property more than 30 years. Now, that might be 50 people, it might be 500 people. If you don't know until you do the work. But if you think about it, every area has properties that are owned free and clear, that are owned more than 30 years, and the people living there are 65 or older. We don't really care so much about the age as we do about the length of ownership and really they are relative to age. Okay, so it's all important, but first criteria is length of ownership, and you want to repeat that as many as 12 times. Okay, Again, make sure the letter itself, let me go back here real quick. Let me do a quick share. Hang on 1 second, guys. By the way, the night's webinar is not going to be nearly as long as the others. This strategy is usually very straightforward. If it's simple to describe, it usually means there's more work in the execution. The ones that are more difficult to describe usually are easier in execution. It's just the nature of the beast of marketing, okay? With this letter, again, I recommend you keep the top of it blank, okay? And down to the bottom is where you put your signature block down here. Your name, which brokerage you're with, phone number, email address, physical address. And in California, you got to put in there your license ID. Same thing for if you're in New Jersey. I'm not sure about the Florida, Texas. Louis, I can't remember in Canada if you have to put in your license ID. I can't remember that. By the way, Louis, do you know if on Geo Warehouse, at least in Ontario, can you get the date of last purchase? In other words, can you get the current owner's information as a provide date of purchase? If you can let me know that, because this is something else that would really be a big help for us for our Canadian students. No license in Ontario. That might be an old comment. That's a new comment. Let's see. Shannon, does this strategy work in a declining market? It can, Shannon. Remember, whatever way the market's moving, you want to lead whatever direction it's going. You want to lead with price. Okay, so it's just like Wayne Gretzky used to say playing hockey. You skate to where the puck is going. So if the market is trending down, you've got to look at where the price of this thing may go. Okay, and in this case, I would say there's more risk there, particularly for the contractor. Not for the owner. The contractor is going to assume risk on that one, but everything's relative. So I would tell you, in certain markets, some parts of the market will be declining while others are increasing. The prices are increasing. So what I would do is I would study it at the neighborhood level. You know, in LA, you've got so many different neighborhoods. You know, Beverly Hills, West Beverly Hills. You know, there's Hollywood Hills. There's Burbank, there's, you know, Las Feliz, there's so many different neighborhoods. You'd really have to study it on a neighborhood by neighborhood basis. But I would say the areas that are in high demand, right, and generally higher priced, those are going to be the ones, Shannon, you want to focus on. So if you can look at sales volume also, so you can do a search on your MLS to see do a general list of sales in the last year, and sort by zip code, okay? And you can see the properties that are selling for the most money and selling the fastest, okay? So you can do something like that. But really, I would just use that the lead source and narrow it down from there. Plug in, you know, 100% equity and grab those ones. That would be a pretty good source of information. And again, you get the owner's information too directly. In that case, you eliminate the manual labor and you don't have to pay for it, you know. In any case, guys, any questions tonight? Short webinar. We got a small group here. Let's see who we got. I'd even look to see if we have any. So Betty, good to see you, Betty. David, Doug Campbell, good to see you, buddy. So Doug, did you get my email from earlier about Melissa data? Louis, Melanie, Shannon, Tanya Raleigh, good to see you too. That's right. Willie Hayes, good to see you, buddy. So Willie, this strategy tonight, that would work well for you. Okay. In fact, most places of Florida, this strategy would really work well, but particularly where you are. So you might have dialed in late, Willie, I'm not sure, but make sure you grab the email tomorrow from Beverly, you know, with all the information, the attachments and all that. Okay, let me go back to the chat box. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I've got to call David back, and I think Louis, I'll call you back too. I got to do some other work with emails. But if anybody has any questions, as always, just email me. You know, call me. You've all got my phone number. Set up a strategy call. If you haven't done that, if anybody's not set up a strategy call, let me grab that real quick and I'll plug that in. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. So hang on, let me grab this for you. Strategy call, okay. I think most of you online here have a call set up or have just recently had one. But if you haven't, I'm going to type this in for you. So hang on one second. Let's see. So Doug, Melanie, yeah, if you guys haven't set up a call recently, go ahead and put one in there if you don't mind. Okay, so Doug says, got your email, didn't ask for money, we'll give 1,000 credits each month. Well, that's interesting. Okay, well, that's good. See, what they want you to do, Doug, on Melissa Data is it's part of the EDDM, Every Door Direct Marketing Program. They want you to use their postcards, and that's where they make their money. So use their postcards. Of course, they're also using stamps, and it's a volume deal. So the more you use, the cheaper it is, right? And the data part, the research part, they generally give you for free. That's how we came up with it. We just realized, okay, well, let's just give that link out, right? But I guess you use it so much, you probably showed up on somebody's radar screen. So I guess you're using it a lot, Doug, and that's good because it's public information, awesome information. It really helps you narrow things down. Also remember, like city data is another great tool. You know, go to the, hang on one second. If you go to the silver level membership area, let me go there real quick. Let me show you guys this. Whoops. I'm just going to bring it up real quick and I'll show you all these websites. Hang on just one second. It's going to take me a second to log in and I'll share this with you. Hang on, almost there. Okay. All right, let me do a quick share. Hang on one second. So share. Okay, so Doug, well, everybody actually, if you scroll down the left-hand side, the blue panel where it says website resources, okay? There's a whole bunch of websites, okay? Several up top, there are some that are subject specific, okay? One's just for us, investor agents, one's for flipping, some for rentals, management, wholesaling, Canadian links. There should be all the Canadian links that we have. So Doug, all that's out there for you. And I'll give you a big hint. Remind and Rebo Gateway are awesome. So Shannon, Rebo Gateway works really well in California. Remind, Melanie, Remind works awesome. Matter of fact, when I was there teaching, Melanie, a lot of other market centers were linking the MLS to Remind, okay? Scotsman guides all the banking information, bankers' contact information is in there. Marcus Millichip gives you all kinds of multi-unit data, okay? Whoops, moved too fast there. Let's see, oh, here's one, Doug. BRB Publications. That's like the master list of all online publications. And you drill down by state, then county, and you can get all the public records, all the court data, all that kind of stuff is out there. In any case, let me go back to the chat box and see if there's any questions. Shannon, would I still benefit from Rebo Gateway if I also have RealFlow? I wouldn't pay for Rebo Gateway yet, Shannon. Use RealFlow first. RealFlow gives you direct access to all these people. I would say you're not going to need Rebo Gateway. I don't know think about it because I paid for the extra stuff on RealFlow. So we have bankruptcy, foreclosure, of course, probate, like 17 different types of leads are on there. So, and you can get the county, you can get the property tax data for free. So I'd say you don't need it. You don't need a Rebo Gateway. Okay, yeah, I do too, Shannon. Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I know these normally go an hour or longer. So next week, what I'm going to do is go into what's called RAL, Residential Assisted Living, okay? It's another strategy for areas that have an elderly population and you have nice neighborhoods, okay? They don't have to be the most expensive, but remember, it's more like upper middle class, okay? And it's another awesome exit strategy for owners or investors, gives them an option. Okay, and of course you benefit from multiple ways. And it's a great service to the community because right now, guys, there's 77 million baby boomers in the United States alone. And they don't want to be in nursing homes, okay? They want to be in a home, in a neighborhood where children are playing and there's dogs and there's a yard and a patio and a deck. And they can come and go as they please. That's what they want, okay? So I'm going to show you how to provide that or help your investors provide that and make a lot more money. So, okay, guys, if that's it, I will bid you adieu. Hope you have a great night. And I'll see you next week, by the way, which will be on Tuesday the 9th. Is that right? Tuesday the 9th. Great strategy. Works everywhere. Oh, by the way, Melanie, in Texas, you've got neighborhoods where you're allowed to have as many 16 people in a home, depending on square footage and number of bedrooms, okay? This is a very popular technique in Texas. And by the way, where you are in Austin and of course up in San Antonio or down in San Antonio, excuse me, are two of the highest priced markets for assisted living, medical assisted living. So you can beat the competition by having this type of strategy in place. So instead of them paying $6,000 a month on average, they might pay $3,000 to $4,000. It's an awesome strategy, and I think you guys are gonna like it. So, all right, guys, have a good night, and I will see you next week. Take care, and God bless you and your families, and have an awesome rest of the week. And I